I'm just gonna say it, PETA was so close to nailing it with these two games. So close. On this channel, I've been taking a look at all of the games made by the garbage company PETA. And today we're taking a look at PETA's 3 Super Mario ripoffs. I didn't realize this first game even existed until I finished the scripting and recording. I mean, can you blame me for confusing it with the second? So I'll just briefly touch on this one after I talk about the second one. They're very similar games, so it really doesn't matter which one I talk about, you'll get the idea either way. So let's talk about the games in this order, starting with New Super Chick Sisters, released in 2009. Believe it or not, this game does not start off bad at all. Aside from the fact that you have to look at this picture of Ronald McDonald on the side for the entire game. But this game actually looks kind of cute with the Mario and Luigi chicks. This game starts with some lore. It says that Pamela Anderson has been captured by Ronald McDonald, who was planning on making her a part of his unhappy meal, along with chickens who get tortured. I don't know what he means by this. Is he going to grind up Pamela Anderson as meat? I also don't really know why they went with Pamela Anderson here. She's worked with PETA in the past with some advertisements, so I guess that's why? And obviously Pamela is the Princess Peach of this game. Meanwhile, I'm still unsure of why this is a Mario parody. After that lore, it explains the controls, which is just arrow keys to move and space to jump. You can start the game or start kid-friendly mode. I have no idea what kid-friendly mode is. I did play it for a bit and I noticed no differences. So when you click play, you get some cutscenes. Pamela is opening her brand new vegetarian restaurant. And as a side note, I'm surprised they're not making this a vegan restaurant because PETA always preaches veganism over vegetarianism, but I guess this time it's for the vegetarians? Ronald is hiding and watching from the sidelines. He then says he'll use her as a toy for his unhappy meals. So we finally get context for what he meant at the start of the game, but even now I still have so many questions. He's gonna use her as a toy for his unhappy meals? Does he like clone her? Does just one person get the toy? Does he chop Pamela up into many pieces and puts it in all of his happy meals? Like, there's still so many questions here, but what did I expect from writing in a PETA game? The Hamburglar then kidnaps her, and Nugget, one of the Chick sisters, says, "We have to save the princess again. Chicket, let's go." It then cuts to Mario reading about the incident at his place. Mamma mia! If only I hadn't been busy playing soccer, practicing baseball, preparing for the Olympics, making sequels, and grooming my manly mustache. I hope I'm not too late, and that Miyamoto doesn't call with another game offer. At this point, I'm shocked. Did PETA actually do a good job with this one? In Super Tofu Boy and PETA's Pokemon games, they paint the original games in such a bad light for no real good reason. But here, they're just making jokes on Mario's behalf, which is actually somewhat funny. At this point, I'm just cautiously optimistic about how they're gonna handle Mario in this game. And spoiler alert, they do mess this up very soon. The game starts and yeah, it looks like a parody of a Mario game. Aside from the blood under the McDonald's sign, this game actually looks cute. You collect chicks as you go along. They're essentially coins in this game. The movement feels fine, it's basic, but not necessarily bad by any means. Along the way, you meet some NPCs in the form of just bigger chicks. They tell you about how chickens are mistreated at McDonald's and bring up how you have to save Pamela. Surprisingly, none of the messages I read were really tone deaf or self-righteous like the writing is in every other PETA game. In fact, I didn't have a problem with any of these messages that I read. I say this assuming they're factual because I didn't really do any of my own research, but surprisingly, so far I don't really have any problems here. There's these cute little burger monsters that you jump on to kill. You can also ground pound them for more points, but I'm pretty sure points are useless just like in Mario. There's question blocks that either free chicks, give you a 1-up, or it gives you a power-up to get bigger, aka a mushroom. And it looks like these power-ups are Happy Meals, which I was gonna say makes no sense, but in this world McDonald's makes unhappy meals, so I guess there's like chicken feed in these Happy Meals or something. And yet again, to my surprise, these levels aren't linear. The levels aren't huge or anything, but there's a bit of exploration to be had. You can even go to different parts of the level through pipes. There's no special rewards that I found, but it's more than I expected. Despite all of that, this game still feels really dull. It's really just a bare bones platformer, but for as short as these levels are, it's bearable. The level ends when you find the flag and turn it into a PETA flag. In between levels you get cutscenes of Mario and Luigi, and it's actually kind of funny. I won't read them out loud, but I'll put them all on the screen so you can pause and read if you want to. The next level is underwater, and like all water levels, this one is a bit annoying and you're a lot slower in the water. But other than that, the game doesn't change much at all. There's these new cat NPCs, but they don't operate any differently than the chick NPCs. There's this new bouncy enemy, they teach you to wall jump, and there's a fish power-up that allows you to swim. But even with all of these new additions, this level still feels just as unremarkable as the first one. And now, this is the part of the game where it officially loses me. It actually had me in the first half, not gonna lie, but of course PETA had to suddenly start showing its true colors. There's another cutscene with Mario and Luigi. For some reason they want to compete in a race with Yoshi real quick. And for some reason there's a protest going on that's anti-Yoshi racing. An activist says, "It's that Yoshi abuser Mario! Did you know that retired Yoshis can end up in Japanese slaughterhouses when they are hacked apart for human or Nintendo food?" They had something going with all of these lighthearted jokes about Mario, and then they had to turn Mario into the bad guy? And for what? First of all, Yoshi racing isn't a staple of Mario at all. In fact, I can think of one example with a Yoshi race. So from a Mario standpoint, this makes very little sense. But in general, I think they're alluding to how horse races can end up in slaughterhouses after they retire. But you wouldn't necessarily know that from this game because they're talking about Yoshis and not horses. I only put that together because I already knew that fact. So PETA fails to properly educate us on anything and makes Mario look like a bad guy, and I don't know what that accomplished, but that's not even the worst part. After that, you earn a bonus video. And if you watched my Pokemon video, you know what's coming. It's 30 seconds of straight animal abuse, my favorite. And it's abuse specifically on chickens. But unlike in the Pokemon game, this video is unskippable. So any kids who are having fun playing this goofy and lighthearted Mario parody are now subjected to a video of animal abuse. And no, the kid-friendly mode does not get rid of this video, I checked. I'm sure you guys understand why this is terrible, so I'm not gonna linger on this any longer. In fact, let's speed through the rest of this game. The next level takes place in space. The new gimmick is that you can control gravity. I hate to say it, but it can be a little fun and satisfying to play with the gravity. There's not really much to it, however. They also introduce French fry spikes along with these star NPCs, but all of that doesn't save this level from being really any better than the rest. Next is another Mario cutscene, this time with Bowser, who basically agrees to help so he can kidnap Pamela once they save her. The next level introduces bouncy things, big burgers that you have to ground pound to kill, and a rope that you can climb up and down. That's all there is to say here. Next is another cutscene, but this time it's just with the Super Chick sisters. All they say is, "Let's go to Playland to find Ronald." Thankfully, this is the last level of the game, so now you're in a creepy play place from McDonald's. In this level, there's kids you can talk to in these play tunnels that you have to travel through. Sometimes you literally go through them. This is probably my least favorite level, and that's just because it's easy to accidentally go back to the start of the level by accidentally phasing through the tunnels. But once you reach the end of the level, you are met with the endgame boss, Ronald McDonald. He's in a flying device like Bowser sometimes is, and all he really does is just hover for a long time and then occasionally move around and slam down. All you have to do is jump on his head a few times when he's on the ground, and then he dies. It's really boring. So you beat the game and Pamela is freed. Bowser says, "Foiled again!" As if there's literally anything stopping him from kidnapping Pamela right then and there. Mario gets a call for a new game offer, a Mario Teaches Typing game. Bowser says people want Luigi Paint, and Luigi says nobody wants more Mario Shovelware. I'm sorry, I was going to laugh until I remembered that Mario and Luigi are freaking Yoshi abusers. Disgusting. The final screen says, "You have rescued me again and saved millions of chickens from the worst abusers at the hands of McDonald's." You then unlock Pamela as a playable character, but I don't think the game changes at all. She doesn't have any special mechanics or anything special about her at all. It's purely cosmetic. Okay, so the gameplay wasn't too bad or anything. The levels were dull but very short, so it was not overbearing in any sense. There were a couple of bugs that I noticed and some questionable hitboxes, but that was really it. The visuals are actually fine for the most part. You can tell they definitely got lazy with some stuff. For the most part, the writing was somewhat charming, albeit it, nothing special. If it wasn't for that one Yoshi abuse cutscene and the video that follows, they would have done a good enough job, I guess. I'm not saying that this is a good game at all because it's not. But what I'm trying to say is that they were very close to at least having a goofy little PSA on their hands. But unsurprisingly, they messed it up. Alright, let's quickly talk about the first Mario game that PETA made. They're essentially the same game, but this one is attacking KFC for how they handle their chickens. In the levels, there's a lot of the same mechanics that I just talked about. The only enemy in the game is this weird robot Colonel Sanders. The level themes are different from the second one, nothing spectacular though. There are still cutscenes with Mario, but these are shorter and noticeably less charming. And of course, they needed to make Mario into a bad person while not really educating the audience on anything. The only real pro that this game has over its sequel is the fact they don't show you a video of animal abuse. But other than that, they're essentially the same game. The next game is called Mario Kills Tanuki, which was released in 2011. The game's description reads, "When on a mission to rescue the princess, Mario has been known to use any means necessary to defeat his enemy, even wearing the skin of a raccoon dog to give him special powers. Tanuki may be just a suit in Mario games, but in real life, Tanuki are raccoon dogs who are skinned alive for their fur. By wearing Tanuki, Mario is sending the message that it's okay to wear fur. Play Super Tanuki Skin 2D and help Tanuki reclaim his fur." Okay, let's just get something out of the way real quick. Mario is one of my favorite franchises of all time, I would say. I've been playing this game since I was a kid. Never once have I saw Mario wearing a Tanuki suit or any animal suit and thought, oh man, I need to buy some fur right now. In fact, when I was a kid, I wanted to become a vet just because I loved animals that much. Imagine what PETA would do nowadays if they saw footage of Bowser's Fury. And by the way, what kind of argument is this anyway? In my eyes, Mario wearing a Tanuki suit is no different than someone wearing a mascot for a football game. I mean, maybe PETA's against mascots too, it wouldn't surprise me at this point. And by the way, the icing on the cake is, in the last Mario parody game that we just talked about, there is literally a fish outfit you can wear as a power-up, so I guess that's fine. Next to the game is a crude drawing of Mario with a decapitated raccoon head. Above that is text that just reads, "Play the game." This text paired with that picture just comes off so aggressive. It feels like Mario asked you to play this game and you said no, and then Mario got really pissed. He ripped the head off a Tanuki and said, "I am not asking you to play my game, I am telling you to play it." Alright Mario, chill, I'll play your game. It's an endless runner game. The screen is constantly moving and all you do is jump, similar to games like Jetpack Joyride. But unlike Jetpack Joyride, this game isn't really fun. But first, of course we need to break down these visuals. This does look surprisingly good for a PETA game. You're playing as an angry skinned Tanuki that looks like a cat. You're chasing Mario, who is wearing the Tanuki skin. The ground is covered in blood. It looks like there's an explosion happening in the background. There's these hills or pillars in the background that parody the ones in Mario games. But these are bloody Tanukis, but again, they look like cats. I think this one's supposed to have stripes, but it looks like a weird rib cage or maybe some gills? But maybe that's just my imagination. So all you do is press space to jump and try not to fall in a pit or get stuck behind a pipe. It's not hard to control or anything, but it lacks variety in its layouts very quickly. And there were some questionable deaths. Every 10 coins you get a time bonus, and that sets the clock that's been counting up back down. I don't think there's a time limit or anything. I think the time is essentially just your score and you want it as low as possible by the end. As time goes on, you slowly get closer and closer to Mario. After 10 minutes in a really close attempt, I gave up, but I'll show you footage of the ending. Wow. Under this game is information on how you can save Tanukis. There's a video that I was very hesitant to watch because, you know, but my curiosity got the best of me and I checked it out. It starts off fine, it shows some sad raccoons in cages and has some text as if this was a trailer for the game, but then out of nowhere they just start showing Tanuki abuse. I just love watching that. The thing is, I was genuinely curious about this topic. I didn't know Tanukis were being used for their fur, but instead of PETA doing anything to educate me, they just put some animal abuse in my face. So at the end of the day, I played 2 boring games, watched 2 videos of animal abuse, and learned absolutely nothing. Classic PETA.